Is time travel possible in our universe? Time is something we experience every day. It moves with us, gently unfolding in the background of our lives. We wake up, we work, we sleep, and through it all, time seems to glide by steadily, without much interruption. It feels as though time moves in one direction, forward, from past to present to future. But if we stop for a moment and think a little more deeply, we might wonder, can time behave differently? Is time travel, in some form, possible? To explore this idea, we'll look at time from a scientific perspective, not as the magical journeys you might read about in stories or watch in films, but as a question that modern physics gently touches upon. We'll take a slow walk through the realms of time and space, unfolding ideas one layer at a time, like the pages of an ancient book. We'll discover how time is connected to motion, gravity, and the very fabric of our universe. Let's begin with time itself. Time, as we know it, the minutes follow, and the hours move, the minutes follow, and the hours move forward, unyielding. But in the world of physics, time is not always as steady as it feels. It is not merely something we experience in passing, but a dimension, a part of the structure of our universe. Time, in the language of physics, is part of what we call space-time. Space-time is the idea that time and the three dimensions of space are intertwined, connected in ways that can change depending on how fast we're moving or how close we are to large objects, like planets or stars. It's as though time and space are two threads woven together, gently curving and shaping the fabric of reality. The concept of space-time helps us understand how time can bend, just like space can stretch. Time is not an isolated stream moving forward by itself. It is part of a larger, flowing dance. And in this dance, time is influenced by motion and gravity. This is where we begin to touch on the idea of time travel. One of the most well-known ideas related to time travel is time dilation. Time dilation is the gentle stretching or shrinking of time, depending on how fast an object is moving or how strong the gravitational field around it is. You've likely heard that time slows down as you move closer to the speed of light. While this may seem strange, it is not a far-off fantasy, but a scientifically observed phenomenon. When objects move at very high speeds, close to the speed of light, time for them begins to slow down in comparison to objects moving at slower speeds. It's as if time, like a soft river, begins to slow as you move faster through it. The closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time moves for you relative to others who are not moving as quickly. This phenomenon has been confirmed through experiments. For instance, particles that move at high speeds in particle accelerators experience time differently than particles at rest. In a more familiar context, astronauts aboard the International Space Station experience a small amount of time dilation due to their high speed in orbit. For them, time moves just a tiny bit slower compared to people on Earth. The effect is incredibly subtle, but it's a real measurable change in the flow of time. Along with speed, gravity also has an impact on time. The stronger the gravitational pull, the more time slows down. This happens near large objects like planets, stars, or black holes. The stronger the gravity, the more time is stretched. It's not a dramatic effect, but a gentle stretching that occurs over great distances. A clock near a massive object will tick more slowly than one far away, where the gravitational pull is weaker. These effects of time dilation are confirmed by scientists. They are not theories, but gentle, observable truths of how the universe works. Time, under the influence of motion and gravity, is not as rigid as we might think. It is a little more flexible, like a river that can bend and meander, depending on the landscape. While we can observe these effects, there are still many ideas in the realm of time travel that remain theoretical. For example, one of the most famous concepts in the study of time travel is the idea of wormholes. A wormhole is a hypothetical passage through space-time, a sort of shortcut between distant points in the universe. Imagine a folded piece of paper with two holes punched in it. If you connect the holes with a tunnel, you've created a wormhole. In theory, such a tunnel could allow someone to travel instantly from one side of the universe to the other. This idea, though, is still a mathematical possibility. No one has yet discovered a wormhole, nor proven that one could be created. Similarly, the idea of curved space-time suggests that the very fabric of the universe could bend in such a way that time could loop back on itself. This too is a theoretical possibility explored by physicists, but there is no experimental evidence to support it at present. These concepts are intriguing and fascinating, yet they remain within the realm of theoretical physics. They invite us to think about what might be possible, but they are far from being proven or achievable with current technology and understanding. The beauty of these ideas lies in their ability to expand our minds and curiosity, but for now, they remain as abstract possibilities. Even though we can't yet travel back in time or leap forward with certainty, the way time works in our universe continues to unfold with gentle consistency. Some of the questions we have about time, like time travel, remain open, awaiting further exploration. But that uncertainty is not something to fear. It is simply a natural part of the journey of science. The answers may not be immediate, and that is okay. The pursuit of knowledge is a peaceful, unfolding process. Time travel, as we often imagine it, is not something we can yet do, at least not in the dramatic sense we see in stories. But that doesn't mean time is a straight, unchanging river. It is a living, flowing thing, shaped by the universe itself, and we are just beginning to understand how it works. We may never be able to travel through time in the ways we dream of, but we are learning more about the nature of time every day. And that in itself is a peaceful journey. As we reflect on these ideas, we can find comfort in the fact that time is steady, reliable, and always moving. It doesn't rush. It doesn't hurry. It flows gently, unfolding before us in every moment. We may not fully understand time yet, but we are slowly, patiently finding our way. And that is enough. So as we close our thoughts on time, let us rest in the quiet certainty that time, in all its mystery and wonder, is here with us. Gently, calmly, and steadily, it carries us forward, just as it always has. There is no need to hurry, no need to rush. Time will unfold at its own pace, and we can trust that it will always be there, moving forward with us, softly and steadily. Time travel may not be possible in the way we imagine, but time itself is a beautiful, peaceful mystery, one that we are always a part of, always learning from. As we gently move forward in our understanding of time, we begin to see it not as a rigid path, but as something that flows, shaped by the very nature of the universe around us. The more we learn, the more we realize that time is not something to conquer or manipulate, but something to embrace with curiosity and respect. In our daily lives, we often feel the steady march of time, but when we look at it from a scientific perspective, we see that time can shift in subtle ways. Whether it's the stretching of time near a massive planet, or the slight slowing of time as we travel at high speeds, we discover that time behaves differently under different circumstances. It's like the ocean. Its waves move in predictable rhythms, yet they can shift and change depending on the conditions. As we continue to explore the concept of time, we also find comfort in its consistency. Even as we ask questions about time travel or ponder the possibility of bending time in certain ways, we are reminded that time, in its deepest sense, is steady. It's a force that shapes our existence, but it's never in a rush. Time moves at its own pace, whether we understand it fully or not. It's beautiful, in a way, to think about how little we truly need to control time. It moves as it should, and we are simply part of its flow. We experience time through moments of joy, of rest, of growth. As we look to the future, we can trust that time will continue to carry us forward, even if we don't know exactly where it leads. So as we slowly drift toward the end of our exploration today, let's rest in the peaceful certainty that time, in its simplest form, is with us always. It moves steadily, patiently, gently. And as we take each step forward, we can trust that it will be there, unfolding with us, supporting us, always in motion, yet always steady. Time may remain a mystery in many ways, but in its movement, it is also a constant, a quiet companion on our journey. And so, with a soft breath, we leave this exploration behind, allowing time to continue its quiet unfolding, just as it has for billions of years. As we move forward, we find ourselves gently stepping away from the questions of time travel, and instead, resting in the peaceful realization that time, in its simplest form, is a constant companion. It moves with us, sometimes imperceptibly, and at other times, in a way that we notice more clearly, like the passing of seasons or the unfolding of a day. We can think of time as a canvas, stretching out before us, quietly shaping our lives without asking for much in return. Time is steady and ever-present, even when we don't understand it fully. We often wish to move faster or perhaps slower, but time moves at its own pace, independent of our desires or efforts. And in that, there is a comforting kind of peace. While the mysteries of time, its bending, its stretching, its delicate relationship with space, may never be fully answered, we can take solace in knowing that these mysteries are a natural part of the world we live in. Science will continue to unfold them slowly, patiently, just as time itself unfolds before us. And so, as we close our thoughts today, we leave with a quiet, gentle acceptance. Time will continue to flow, to stretch, to move at its own rhythm, and we will continue to move with it. There's no need to hurry, no need to rush, just a soft journey, unfolding step by step. In the end, we learn that while we cannot control time, we can learn to move with it, appreciating each moment as it comes. So let us rest in the simplicity of time, a soft, unbroken thread that connects all moments, past, present, and future. It is here with us now, and it will continue to be steady and sure. And that, in itself, is a peaceful truth to hold on to. As we continue to move forward in our understanding of time, let us pause for a moment and reflect on how time, in its purest form, is not just something that passes, something that simply ticks away on a clock. No, time is far more nuanced. It is woven into the very fabric of the universe itself, silently shaping our reality with a gentle touch. At every moment, time moves through us, shaping our lives and experiences, but also shaping the cosmos. It stretches, it bends, and it flows in ways that we can observe. And yet, it often feels unchanging, constant, and dependable. One of the first things we must recognize about time is that it is not simply an external phenomenon, something that we exist within, unaffected by its flow. Time is inextricably linked to the space around us. It's part of a larger structure we call space-time. This term, space-time, may sound abstract, but it's actually a simple idea. Space and time are not separate, isolated entities. They are intertwined, like two threads woven into a single piece of fabric. In our everyday lives, we think of space and time as separate. We think of the space between us, the space between objects, the distances we travel, and the moments that pass by. But the deeper we look, the more we find that space and time are inseparable. They work together. shaping the world around us. The space-time continuum is a dance, a quiet rhythm in which time is forever in motion, alongside the vast distances of space. Now, we enter the realm where time begins to flow a little differently. If space and time are woven together, what happens when we move through them at different speeds, or when we are near large objects like planets or stars? How does the fabric of space-time bend and twist in those cases? One of the most important ideas in understanding time is motion. You may have heard that time slows down or speeds up depending on how fast something is moving. This isn't something we see in our daily lives, but at higher speeds, at speeds near that of light, time behaves differently. This is called time dilation, and it's one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern physics. Imagine a spaceship traveling near the speed of light. As it moves, time aboard the ship slows down relative to the time on Earth. This isn't just a theoretical idea, it has been observed through experiments. We've seen, for instance, that particles traveling at high speeds experience time more slowly. Even astronauts in space, moving at high velocities, experience a slightly slower passage of time compared to people on Earth. This difference is very small, but it is real. The faster you move, the more slowly time moves for you, in comparison to those who are standing still. Time dilation teaches us something very beautiful about the nature of time. It reminds us that time is not absolute, not fixed. It moves with us in relation to the space we are traveling through. And so, while we may feel time moving steadily forward, when we look at time from a different perspective, moving faster or slower through space, it becomes clear that time is not as simple as it may seem. It is flexible, malleable, and shaped by motion. But there's more. Time dilation also happens in the presence of strong gravity. Imagine standing near a massive planet or a star. The gravitational pull of that object is so strong that it affects not only the space around it, but also the flow of time. In regions of intense gravity, time moves slower. A clock near a black hole would tick more slowly than one far away from it. This effect is not something we experience directly, but it has been confirmed by many experiments. For example, satellites orbiting the Earth experience a weaker gravitational pull than objects on the surface of the Earth, and so their clocks tick a little faster. This difference, though small, has to be taken into account for GPS satellites to function accurately. Without this adjustment, our GPS systems would quickly become inaccurate. These effects of time dilation, both from motion and gravity, are calm, predictable consequences of the way the universe works. Time does not rush forward with a mind of its own. Instead, it flows in harmony with the forces of the universe. Time is shaped, like a river carving its way through the land, by the space and gravity around it. As we step back, we begin to see the beauty of this unfolding. Time is not something fixed or rigid, but a gentle wave moving in harmony with the world around us. It is shaped by the forces of motion and gravity, bending and stretching in ways that we are just beginning to understand. But even in its flexibility, time is consistent. It follows the same laws everywhere, calmly unfolding in predictable ways. Now, let us take a moment to gently shift our focus to some of the more theoretical ideas about time travel. Ideas that, though fascinating, are still far from being proven or observed. Some of the most well-known of these ideas are wormholes and curved space-time. Wormholes, as proposed by physicists, are imagined tunnels through space-time that could connect two distant points in the universe, allowing someone to travel between them instantly. This idea, though captivating, is still very much in the realm of theory. We have never observed a wormhole, and we have no way of creating one. Yet, mathematically, they seem possible. Similarly, The idea of curved spacetime suggests that the fabric of spacetime itself can be bent or folded, potentially allowing for travel through time. This idea is also based on the mathematics of relativity, and while it is intriguing, we have no experimental evidence to suggest that it is possible. It is a gentle and abstract idea, one that reminds us of the vastness and mystery of the universe. But even though we cannot yet prove these ideas, they offer us something valuable, a sense of wonder and possibility. They invite us to dream, to think about the universe in new ways, and to imagine the unknown. As we gently leave behind these theoretical ideas, we return to the more grounded understanding of time. We see time as something that is always with us, always moving, always flowing, but also something that is shaped by the world around us. Time is not something we can control, but something we can learn to understand, to observe, and to appreciate. We may never be able to travel through time in the ways that we often imagine, but that doesn't mean time itself is any less remarkable. Time is a part of the universe, and in that, it holds a quiet, steady power. It moves through us, through everything, unfolding in a peaceful rhythm from moment to moment. As we draw our exploration to a close, we find that time, in its complexity and simplicity, is not something to be feared or hurried. It is a soft, unfolding presence that moves with us. And though we may wonder about time travel, about bending or folding time, we can rest assured that time, in its own way, will continue to unfold gently, steadily, with or without our intervention. Let us reflect for a moment on the peace of this understanding. Time, like a river, flows forward. It is with us always, carrying us gently through life, not rushing, not pushing, but simply unfolding in the most natural of ways. And with that peaceful thought, we come to the end of our journey for today, allowing time to continue its quiet, steady unfolding, just as it always has. In its own way, time travel may not be possible, but the journey through time, our journey, is beautiful, and it is enough. Time will always be with us, in its own soft and gentle way, and that is something we can always trust. As we continue forward, let's allow ourselves to gently expand on the concept of time, exploring how it behaves in ways that might seem strange, yet are grounded in the quiet laws of nature. Time is not something we merely experience passively, but something that shapes us and the universe around us in subtle, sometimes unexpected ways. We have explored how time behaves differently depending on motion and gravity, and how this aligns with the established laws of physics. Yet, as we move deeper into our contemplation, we begin to see that time, in all its quiet movements, may have a rhythm that reflects the larger structures of the universe. Like a melody, time flows through the cosmic dance, shaped by the very forces that govern the fabric of space and matter. This connection between time and space, and between time and the immense objects that shape our universe, offers us a rich tapestry to explore. Let us now look at a key concept that ties all of these ideas together: space-time. Space-time is a framework that binds the dimensions of space and time into one unified whole. It's an idea that can seem abstract at first, but when we think of it as a vast, interconnected fabric, it becomes easier to grasp. Imagine, for a moment, that the universe is made of a vast, invisible sheet stretching endlessly in all directions. This sheet is not flat. It bends, curves, and moves with the presence of mass and energy. Objects that have mass, like planets, stars, and even ourselves, press down on this fabric, creating indentations or curves. The greater the mass of an object, the deeper the indentation it creates in the fabric of space-time. This curving of space-time is what gives us the experience of gravity. Just as a heavy object placed on a stretched sheet causes it to dip and warp, massive objects like the Earth and the Sun curve space-time, which causes smaller objects like satellites, moons, and even light to follow curved paths. This is how time and space are intertwined. The presence of mass, the force of gravity, and the motion of objects all combine to shape the flow of time. And because time is part of this fabric, it too is affected by gravity and motion. When objects move through this curved space-time, they follow paths that can be affected by both space and time. It's not a random journey. Rather, it's a movement through the continuous flow of the universe, shaped by the structure of space-time. Now let us pause here, as this is where we begin to explore the more delicate aspects of time and space. The curvature of space-time doesn't just affect how objects move, it also affects how time moves. In regions where gravity is stronger, like near a massive planet or a black hole, time slows down. The deeper the indentation in space-time, the slower time flows within that region. This effect is subtle and not something we often notice in our daily lives, but it becomes pronounced when we consider objects with enormous mass, like black holes. A black hole, in essence, is a place where space-time curves so dramatically that not even light can escape. Near a black hole, time slows down so much that if you were to approach it, an observer far away would see you slowing down as you got closer to it. To you, it would feel as though time was passing normally, but to someone far away, your movements would seem to be slowing to a stop. We can think of space-time as a river that flows around and through everything. The flow of this river, however, is not always the same. Sometimes the current moves gently and steadily, while at other times it moves more slowly, depending on the forces around it. In this way, the flow of time itself is shaped by the very structure of the universe, a gentle reminder of how interconnected everything is in this vast cosmic dance. As we drift further into our understanding, it becomes clear that time is not an isolated entity. It is part of a larger cosmic system. It doesn't just move forward in a linear fashion. It is bent, stretched, and compressed by the forces that shape our universe. And in this bending and stretching, time reveals its true nature, not as a simple clock ticking away, but as a flexible and flowing dimension, shaped by the objects and forces around it. Let's now return to our question of time travel. As we've seen, time dilation, the stretching and compressing of time, occurs naturally under certain conditions. The more we move through space, the more our perception of time changes. Time moves differently for objects that are traveling at high speeds, and it moves differently in regions of strong gravity. These effects, though small in our everyday lives, become more pronounced as we approach the extremes of motion and gravity. But when it comes to traveling through time in a way that would allow us to visit the past or leap forward into the future, we encounter the limits of our understanding. Backward time travel, for instance, remains a topic of theoretical speculation, but we have no scientific evidence or framework that would allow us to move backward in time. We can look at this from the perspective of physics, where we see time as part of the fabric of space-time, flowing in one direction, forward. This forward-moving flow of time is consistent with the second law of thermodynamics, which states that entropy, or disorder, always increases over time. As time progresses, things tend to become more disordered, and the universe moves from one state of lower entropy to one of higher entropy. This forward-moving direction is something we observe every day in the world around us. While we may imagine traveling backward through time, undoing past events or revisiting moments we've already lived, the laws of physics do not currently allow for this. Time, it seems, moves in a steady direction, unidirectional, toward the future. The past, once past, remains behind us, part of the history that has shaped us. The future, though uncertain, unfolds ahead of us, one moment at a time. As we explore these concepts, we must remember that science is a patient, gentle process. There are still many mysteries that remain unsolved, and perhaps time travel, of the kind we dream about in stories, may never be possible. But in this uncertainty, there is peace. The unknowns are part of what makes science so beautiful and so endlessly fascinating. We may not have all the answers, but the journey of discovery is ongoing, and that is enough. Let us reflect on what we have learned. Time is not just a simple measurement. It is part of the very fabric of the universe. It is influenced by the motion of objects and the presence of massive forces like gravity. Time flows in a way that we can predict, but also in ways that surprise us, bending and stretching as it interacts with the universe around us. Perhaps the most profound lesson is this: time, like space, is a vast, interconnected network. It moves with the universe, following the natural laws of physics, flowing gently and shaping everything around it. In this quiet flow, we are all part of something larger than ourselves. Time, in all its beauty and mystery, is with us, gently unfolding each moment, never in a hurry, never rushing ahead, always steady, always there. As we move forward, we realize that we do not need to control time, nor do we need to rush through it. Time will move with us, just as it always has, flowing gently forward, unyielding, yet full of possibility. Our understanding of time may continue to evolve, but for now, we can rest in the knowledge that time, in its simplest form, is a peaceful companion, guiding us through the universe at its own pace. And that, in itself, is enough. The beauty of time is in its steady rhythm. It may bend and stretch, and we may not always understand it, but we can always trust that it will continue to unfold before us. Each moment a new beginning, each passing second a quiet step forward. Time, in all its mystery, is a gift. And as we journey through it, we do so with the comfort of knowing that it is always with us, steady and sure. As we journey forward through our exploration of time, we find that the deeper we look, the more we realize how intricate and wonderfully connected time is to the universe itself. It's not something that exists in isolation, something external to us, but something that is intrinsically woven into the very structure of our being. Time flows through everything, through us, through the stars, and through the quiet stillness of the universe. It's not just a ticking clock, but a soft, continuous pulse that guides the rhythm of existence. The quiet passage of time is a companion to everything that is. We experience time in each moment of our lives, yet its true nature remains elusive. Time is constantly moving, yet we rarely feel its presence as a force until we stop and truly reflect. And even then, the presence of time is often subtle. It is in the rise and fall of the sun, in the gentle ebb of the ocean's waves, and in the steady ticking of the clock. These movements are constant, and they guide our lives in ways we often take for granted. Time is not a concept that can be fully understood in the traditional sense. It is not a simple idea to grasp, for its nature is multidimensional, reaching into aspects of physics, philosophy, and even the depths of our own consciousness. It's a force that affects everything, but is also shaped by everything. Time stretches, contracts, and flows in ways that we are just beginning to understand. It is, in many ways, the most profound and fundamental aspect of our reality. We have already learned that time is connected to the fabric of space-time, a structure that encompasses not just the spatial dimensions of the universe, but the dimension of time as well. Space-time is not something that exists outside of us. It is what makes the universe work. It is the stage on which the entire drama of existence plays out. The dance of stars and planets, the movement of light and gravity, and even the ticking of a clock on the wall all occur within the embrace of space-time. The way we experience time is deeply rooted in how we interact with space. Our everyday experience tells us that time flows forward, steadily, relentlessly. But we have also seen that time can bend and stretch. And the way it bends is influenced by the forces at play in the universe. This idea of time being influenced by gravity, motion, and even the curvature of space is not merely an abstract notion. It's a key part of how the universe itself functions. As we look deeper into the way time works, we find that it isn't just a passive observer of the universe. Time is not merely something that moves on a fixed path. It is something that shapes reality. It's like a river carving its way through a landscape. The river shapes the land through which it flows, but the landscape also determines how the river moves. In the same way, time shapes the events of the universe, yet it is also shaped by the forces of space, motion, and gravity. Consider, for example, the way time behaves near a black hole. A black hole is an object so dense and massive that it creates a deep curvature in space-time, like a massive well that warps the fabric of the universe. The closer you get to a black hole, the more the fabric of space-time is stretched. Time, too, is stretched. If you were to hover near a black hole, time would slow down for you, while to someone far away, it would seem as if you were frozen in place. This stretching of time is not a science fiction fantasy. It is a well-understood and experimentally confirmed effect, one that has been verified many times. This brings us back to the question of time travel. When we think about time travel, we often think of leaping back to the past or rushing into the future, visiting moments in time as though they were distant places we could visit with a machine. But time travel, as it is often imagined, remains within the realm of speculation. The idea of traveling backward through time is something that physics does not currently support. While time dilation allows us to experience time differently, depending on our speed or gravitational field, it does not allow us to jump backward in time. Yet there is something deeply comforting about this. The forward movement of time is something we can trust. It moves with us, patiently unfolding the events of our lives. And while we may not have control over it, we can rest in the knowledge that it is reliable. The future is not something we can predict with certainty, but time will continue to carry us forward, one gentle step at a time. This forward flow of time is a quiet, natural rhythm, like the turning of the seasons. It is ever present, always unfolding. Even when we are unsure of what lies ahead, time continues its steady course, offering us the space to experience each moment as it comes. There is a sense of peace in knowing that time is a constant, a thread that runs through all of existence. Even as we look to the future, unsure of what it holds, we know that time will continue to move with us, softly and steadily. We are not alone in the passage of time. We are part of it. And in this, we find a sense of belonging, a gentle reminder that we are all connected through the flow of time, just as we are connected to the very fabric of the universe. But even as we reflect on the certainty of time's passage, we must also recognize that time is not a simple, unchanging thing. It is dynamic, ever shifting, and continually unfolding. And this unfolding of time is not something we control. It is something that is guided by the forces of the universe. We may not be able to control time, but we can certainly appreciate its beauty and its constancy. One of the most profound aspects of time is its relationship to motion. As we have seen, motion and time are intimately connected. The faster something moves, the slower time passes for it. This is a direct consequence of the laws of physics, and it is a reminder that time is not absolute. It flows differently depending on the speed of an object and the gravitational forces around it. This gentle stretching and shrinking of time are not something we need to fear, but something that reminds us of the inherent flexibility of the universe. This understanding of time as a dynamic, shifting force invites us to think differently about our own experience of time. Time is not something that simply moves forward, indifferent to us. It is something that moves with us, shaped by the conditions of the universe. And in this, we find a deeper connection to the world around us. While time travel, as we often imagine it, may remain beyond our reach, the study of time itself opens up a world of possibilities. We are learning more about the nature of time every day, and with each new discovery, we deepen our understanding of the universe. Time is not a fixed, immutable force. It is something that flows with us, shaped by the very fabric of the universe. Let us take a moment to reflect on this. Time, in all its complexity and simplicity, is something we live with every day. It is not just an external force, something that we passively experience. It is something that shapes us, and we are shaped by it. Each moment we live is a moment in time, unfolding gently before us. And while we may not fully understand the mysteries of time, we can rest in the knowledge that it is with us always, guiding us through the universe, one moment at a time. And so, as we bring our journey through the concept of time to a close, we leave with a sense of peace and understanding. Time is not something to be feared, nor something we need to control. It is a gentle, unfolding presence, always moving forward, carrying us with it. We are part of this movement, and in this, we find a sense of belonging, a quiet assurance that time will continue to flow, just as it always has. Time, in all its beauty and mystery, is a companion on our journey through life. It is with us always, unfolding softly, steadily. And in this gentle unfolding, we find a deep peace. As we move forward in time, we do so with the knowledge that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, something timeless and eternal, and that in itself is enough. The future, though uncertain, is a continuation of this quiet journey. Time will continue to unfold, just as it always has, and we will continue with it, one gentle moment at a time, moving forward together with the flow of time. As we move deeper into our contemplation of time, it becomes clear that time and space are not just passive aspects of our experience. They are the framework in which everything exists, the structure of the universe itself. Time doesn't just pass, it shapes, molds, and holds everything together. It influences not only the stars in the sky, but also the very atoms that make up the world around us. Time governs the universe at every level. In physics, time is treated as a dimension, just like space. The 4 dimensions, 3 of space, length, width, and height, and 1 of time, are what make up the framework we call space-time. This unified structure allows for the existence of everything we know. Each moment in time is connected to a place in space, and the two together create the fabric of reality. But the more we examine time, the more we realize that it behaves differently under different conditions. For instance, the faster we move, the slower time seems to pass for us, compared to someone who is at rest. This is a part of special relativity, a theory that Einstein developed over a century ago, which revealed that time is not absolute. It's not something that flows in one direction at a fixed rate for everyone. Time's flow can vary, depending on motion and gravity. This variation in the passage of time is subtle in everyday life, but becomes more pronounced in extreme conditions. For example, when objects move near the speed of light, time for them slows down compared to those at lower speeds. This effect, called time dilation, has been experimentally verified in various situations, such as when particles traveling at high speeds decay at a different rate than they would at rest. Astronauts orbiting Earth experience time at a slightly slower pace than those of us on the ground due to the speeds at which they travel. But it's not only speed that affects time. The presence of massive objects, like planets or stars, causes time to slow down as well. This is a result of general relativity, Einstein's theory of gravity, which explains that mass warps the fabric of space-time. The more massive an object is, the more it curves space-time, which causes time to pass more slowly near it. So if we were to spend time near a black hole, for instance, the passage of time would be very different from what we experience here on Earth. These phenomena are not science fiction. They are grounded in well-established physics and have been confirmed through experimentation. Yet, even with these discoveries, the idea of time travel remains elusive. While time dilation gives us a glimpse into how time can be altered under certain conditions, the ability to travel through time as we often imagine it, backward or forward, beyond the natural flow of events, remains unproven and far from achievable with current technology. One of the most fascinating aspects of this theoretical time travel is the concept of a wormhole. Wormholes are hypothetical tunnels through space-time that could, in theory, allow us to travel vast distances in the universe, or even perhaps travel through time itself. In simple terms, imagine space-time as a sheet of paper. If you were to fold the paper so that two distant points touch, a wormhole would be like a tunnel connecting those 2 points. However, while this is an intriguing concept, wormholes remain purely theoretical. No one has yet discovered or proven the existence of a wormhole, and the idea of using one for time travel is even more speculative. Similarly, the concept of curved spacetime suggests that time could loop back on itself under certain conditions, allowing for the possibility of revisiting the past or jumping to the future. However, this idea also remains firmly in the realm of theoretical physics. The equations suggest that such phenomena could exist, but there is no empirical evidence to support their reality. Even though these ideas are speculative, they do offer us a window into the imagination and creativity of scientific thought. They stretch the boundaries of what we understand about time and space, encouraging us to think about the universe in new and innovative ways. Yet, while these concepts are fascinating, it's important to remember that they are, at this point, just ideas. They offer us insight into the universe's underlying structure, but do not yet offer us practical methods of traveling through time. As we reflect on these ideas, we begin to see that time travel, as it is often imagined in stories and films, may not be possible in the way we think. The laws of physics, as they currently stand, do not support the possibility of traveling backward in time or leaping forward to the future. However, this doesn't mean that the study of time is without wonder. In fact, the study of time itself is a deeply fascinating and beautiful pursuit. Time is not just a linear sequence of moments. It is a vast, interconnected fabric that is part of the very structure of reality. The way that time is shaped by gravity and motion invites us to think about the universe in ways we never have before. It challenges our notions of what is possible and asks us to consider the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. In this sense, even though we may not be able to travel through time in the traditional sense, the very concept of time travel reminds us of how much there is yet to discover. The possibilities of what time could be and how we might interact with it are still open. We may not have all the answers now, but we are constantly learning, constantly uncovering the mysteries of time, one step at a time. As we close this exploration, it is important to remember that time is not just a scientific concept, it is also a deeply personal one. Time is what connects us to our lives, to our loved ones, and to the world around us. It shapes our memories, our experiences, and our future. The passage of time is something we all share, regardless of where we are or what we are doing. In this light, time travel becomes less about traveling through the past or the future, and more about how we live with time, how we experience it, and how we choose to make the most of the moments we have. Time is not something to fear or resist. It is something to embrace, to appreciate, and to respect. It is the very essence of life itself. So, as we reflect on time, let us find peace in the understanding that time, in all its forms, is a part of the universe's quiet and steady unfolding. It is something that shapes everything, but also something that we are deeply connected to. The past, the present, and the future are all intertwined in this flowing river of time, and we are all carried along by its currents. We may not be able to travel through time as we might hope, but in the stillness of each passing moment, we find that time is already a journey that we are all on together. Time is not just something that happens to us. It is something that we move through, something that we experience, and something that moves through us. In the end, perhaps the greatest gift of time is not the ability to travel through it, but the opportunity to live within it, to learn from it, and to find meaning in each moment. Time, in all its quiet majesty, offers us this gift. And as we continue our journey through life, let us embrace time for what it is, a steady, unbroken flow, always moving forward, gently guiding us toward the future while carrying the past within it. As we move forward, we can rest in the understanding that time will continue to unfold steadily and predictably. We don't need to rush ahead or look back. Time, in its own peaceful way, will continue its journey with or without us, always steady, always present. And in that, we find comfort, knowing that we are all part of something timeless and eternal, as time continues to guide us through this beautiful, unfolding universe. As we come to the conclusion of this exploration into the nature of time, we find that the subject is far more profound and complex than it might initially appear. Time, which we experience as a constant, steady force, moving us from one moment to the next, reveals itself to be much more than a simple passage. It is intricately tied to the fabric of the universe, shaped by the vast forces of space, gravity, and motion. It's a living, breathing part of existence that has been with us since the very beginning and will continue, quietly unfolding, until the end. Throughout this journey, we have ventured beyond the typical view of time as simply a tool to measure the passing of moments. We've looked at time as a dimension, intertwined with space itself, forming the very structure of reality. This view, known as space-time, teaches us that time isn't something isolated. It is deeply connected to everything we experience, shaped by the movements of celestial bodies, the forces of gravity, and even the speed at which we travel. It's important to acknowledge that while time may appear to move uniformly for us, there are subtle variations in its passage. This idea is especially visible in the realm of physics, where time is understood to behave differently under specific conditions, such as near objects with immense gravitational pull, or when objects are moving at very high speeds. These subtle, gentle shifts, known as time dilation, remind us that time is not fixed. It is flexible, malleable, influenced by the very forces that govern the universe. The concept of time dilation might seem unfamiliar or even strange at first, but it is an established and well-tested phenomenon in modern physics. It reveals that time, while steady, is not an absolute entity. It stretches and compresses, influenced by the speed at which we move and the gravitational forces we encounter. This understanding alone invites us to see time not as something rigid and unchanging, but as part of a much larger, dynamic system. This realization has profound implications, both scientifically and philosophically, on how we understand the universe. Yet, despite these insights into time's nature, one of the most fascinating questions whether we can travel through time, remains unanswered. Time travel, especially in the way we often think about it, remains an elusive concept. While time dilation allows for differences in how time is experienced at different speeds or in different gravitational fields, it does not enable us to jump backward in time or leap ahead to the future at will. The concept of traveling to the past or the future, beyond the flow of time, remains, for now, purely speculative. The possibility of wormholes or curved space-time suggests potential paths through which time might be bent, but these ideas are still confined to the realm of theoretical physics. In considering time travel, we are reminded that science, much like time itself, is a continuous journey of discovery. What we understand today may evolve tomorrow, and while we may not have all the answers now, our curiosity will continue to guide us. This pursuit of knowledge about time, space, and the very nature of the universe is a beautiful reminder of the unending quest for understanding. It is a quest that encourages us to think bigger, to question more deeply, and to dream of what might be possible, even if those dreams are not yet grounded in reality. In the meantime, we are left with the comforting truth that, while we may not control time, we are part of its flow. Time, with its gentle rhythm, moves with us, shaping our lives in ways we can feel, but often can't see. The passage of time is not simply an abstract concept. It's something that we live with each day. It affects our thoughts, our actions, and our very existence. We are deeply connected to time, as it is both a part of us and a reflection of the larger universe. One of the most reassuring aspects of time is its steadiness. No matter the uncertainties we face or the mysteries we have yet to understand, time continues its flow, uninterrupted. The future remains unknown, but time will carry us forward, gently guiding us into what lies ahead. In this sense, time travel is not about leaping from one moment to the next, but about embracing the flow of time, understanding that each moment is a new opportunity to experience life. Time is a constant companion, shaping our experiences and inviting us to reflect on the world around us. It moves forward, always unfolding, always steady. While we may not be able to travel backward or leap forward through time as we often imagine, we can find comfort in knowing that time is a reliable companion on our journey through life. It will continue to unfold, moment by moment, carrying us forward with it. And so, we arrive at a place of peace in our understanding of time. It is not something we need to fear, nor is it something we need to manipulate. Time, in its most fundamental sense, is a gift. It is a gift that allows us to experience the beauty of life, to learn, to grow, and to reflect. As time moves forward, we too move with it, experiencing the world and our place within it. As we conclude our exploration of time, we can rest in the knowledge that time will continue to unfold, steady and sure. The mysteries of time travel, of wormholes and curved space-time, may remain unanswered for now, but in the quiet unfolding of time itself, there is comfort. Time is with us, gently guiding us forward, moment by moment. It is a steady current, flowing through the fabric of the universe, carrying us with it as we move through life. In the end, the beauty of time lies not in our ability to control it, but in our ability to experience it. Time is a constant, shaping us and the world around us, always moving forward, gently guiding us through each moment. As we move forward, we can trust that time will continue its quiet unfolding, always steady, always present. And in that, we find peace. Time, in its own quiet and gentle way, will always be with us, carrying us forward through the universe. And so, with each passing moment, we live within time, a part of its unfolding journey. Time, as we know it, is more than a simple measurement. It is the very fabric of our existence, woven through each moment, shaping us, guiding us, and connecting us to the larger universe. As we embrace time, we embrace the beauty of the world around us and the peace of knowing that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, something timeless, something eternal. In the end, we realize that time travel may not be something we can physically achieve, but in every moment we live, we experience the true magic of time. We move forward together, in sync with the gentle rhythm of the universe, and that in itself is enough.